Tinkerbell Secret of the Wings. Now we just have 2 more Tinkerbell movies to talk about. Last week I talked about Pixie Hollow Games, which is kind of like a little short thing. And now we are talking about Secret of the Wings, which I think I said in the Great Fairy Rescue video that I think that one's the best one. I'm not sure if I still feel that way. This one is a close runner-up. I think it has a couple issues holding it back. I think that this movie is probably the best animated out of all the ones up so far. It has a really good story and conflict to it. Essentially, Tinkerbell, at the border of this ice part of Pixie Hollow, starts seeing her wings glow kind of like this on the cover here. And she finds out she has a sister over there in the ice part of it. And so she goes over there, and then from there it kind of escalates into where the ice fairies and the normal fairies have to work together to save Pixie Hollow. And what I really like about this story is there's tragedy in it. You have a fairy who still can't fly by the end of the movie, and it's very clear and explicit who that is. I wish we had gotten to see a flashback to that, where these 2 lovers fell in love and they were able, and then they had to, one ended up not being able to fly, and they had to make this rule that the ice fairies and the garden fairies kind of had to stay separate. By the end of the movie, they kind of ditched that rule, which I don't really get, because there's never a point in this movie where it stops being unsafe for the parties to kind of come together. And it is kind of bullshit that their wings Tinkerbell's wings just magically healed by the magic of sisterhood. I will say, this movie, and Frozen fans are going to be pissed at me for saying this, has a much better sister relationship and bond between Periwinkle and Tinkerbell in this movie than fucking Frozen does. So fuck you, Frozen fans, and I absolutely mean that. But yeah, I just think the bullshit ending with that, I feel like there had to be a way to maybe make that work in the story to make it make a little bit more sense, but it's fine. And I do think that, Tinkerbell being so obsessed over this sister that she's in this movie is kind of funny, because Periwinkle never comes back in any of the other sequels. I think she might be in the background of like 1 or 2 of the at least she's in background, I think, 1 of them, but there's only like 2 more and she never comes back. So when she says lines in this movie like, "Oh, I'm never letting you go," really? Because you did, you never talked to her again after this movie. So yeah, I like this movie. I'm not hating on it or anything. I am just pointing out that this movie's a little bit goofy. I do really like this movie, and I think it is one of the best ones. It might be the best one because I feel like the conflict of ice fairies and garden fairies having to stay separate in the worlds and kind of getting to explore both worlds is really interesting and exciting. Where the third movie, I feel like, had the biggest stakes, it felt like, up until that point. But this one feels like it has even more stakes. I mean, the stakes by the end of this movie, there might be risk fairies may ever be able to fly again. So, I don't know. Maybe this one, I'm talking myself into it. I think this one is the best one so far. We'll talk about 5 and 6 in the coming weeks. Let me know your thoughts, like, share, and subscribe.